Oh, you gonna drag me now? I would drag you. You gonna drag me? I'll drag you. Oh, drag me, Monique.
Oh, didn't see you there. Let's make some money off of this coffee table I found on the streets. I'm gonna go pick that up now. I just watched that footage back and... Excuse me, what is that? Ugh, I hate it here. Anyway, this is a perfectly good, usable coffee table that was just sitting all alone on the street. Except there's one problem. It's ugly. Your mom's ugly. I'm sorry, that was a reflex. I'm sure she's a beautiful lady. But I'm not really into the shabby chic look, or whatever you call this. And I'm definitely not into these weird flaps. So they've got to go. And go they did. Yeet! Just kidding, I kept that. In the hardware. I kept everything. What if I need it in 10 years? You just never know. Some may call that hoarding. I call it, I'll probably throw that away in 10 years. Also, I would like to formally apologize to N. Rizzy Bly, Cat the Kate, as well as Cad Donkey CK. I don't mean to poop on your parade, but your DIY sucks. I'm gonna do it better. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start scraping. Time to sand. Wow. Except not wow, because there are scratches that need to be eliminated. But instead of sanding them out, I'm going to iron them out. Steamy. Let's get it on. And back to sanding. And that only got me so far because these are spindles. And spindles are the worst. But I'm stupid enough to keep doing them, so here we are. I wanted to try out this new nylon brush that I overpaid for. So let's see if it works. This is essentially 220 grit because I didn't want to damage the spindles. But turns out the only damage I did was to my bank account. Because I don't know if my eyes aren't working, but this looks like it's doing nothing. I was trying to avoid having to use toxic chemicals. But spoiler, I did have to use them. And now it looks like this. Little hand sand action to finish it all off. And now it's time for the fun stuff. Power tools with Dad. Since I removed the weird wood flap, we had to square off the edges. We could have just stopped there. But that's no fun. Because if we're not doing the mows, then what are we doing? We're routing. Pick a bit, any bit. Oh, this one? Good choice. I'm really grateful my dad was willing to help me on this project because he just hates pulling out his tools. He'd much rather this sit in the box unused. Here goes nothing. Wow. Look at that form. I'm talking about me. I'm doing an excellent job holding down that top. Very impressive. Let's try another side. Here goes nothing again. And disaster. Turns out the router hit an indentation from the old latch and it jumped up on top of the wood. But my dad didn't realize that at the time and thought he had made a giant mistake. I tried to tell him it was okay, but he wasn't convinced. You try. Tell him, Dad, it's okay.
It's not okay. I don't like it.
And we're fixing the problem with a 2-part wood epoxy. I've never tried this product before, but Dad ordered and he was excited to use it, so we're trying it out. Mix part A with part B, mush it all together, and fill what needs to be filled. Now this stuff's supposed to be paintable, stainable, sandable, all the ables, but most important of all, it was cuttable. So we could run it through the table saw again to get a clean edge for the router. So Dad spent all that time getting upset with himself, but he forgot that he can fix anything. You silly goose. Now that we can move on from that, I didn't like the red tones in this wood, so I decided they needed to be eliminated. I used wood bleach by Zinsser, applied solution A, waited about 10 minutes, and then applied solution B. And now we wait. Please don't be ugly. Please don't be ugly. What is that? Precisely not what I asked for. Maybe a light sand and a clean will help. It didn't. Jesus, take the wheel. Take it from my hands. 'Cause I can't do this In the meantime, I'm gonna cut up some dowels. 196, precisely. Oh, where are those going? Everywhere. Loctite, dowels, smush, Loctite, dowels, smush, Loctite. I love you, please sponsor me. Dowels. Then pew 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 pew. Then pew 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 pew. Now make this look like that by And we finally made it to the best part. Tan washing. I tan washed for 2 reasons. I wanted to keep the look light, but I also needed to blend the dowels in with the original wood. So 20% paint, 80% water, brush it on, wipe it off immediately, seal it up with 3 coats of polyurethane, and you get a little something like this. Now, was it worth it? Absolutely not. Even though the coffee table itself was free. I spent about $70 on materials, including sandpaper, 2 bottles of wood bleach, that bristle brush attachment, glue, nails, dowels, wood epoxy, toxic chemicals, paint, poly, you get it. And unfortunately, coffee tables don't resell well on the Facebook Marketplace. So I flipped this coffee table just to tell you to not flip coffee tables. But if you want this, come buy it.